Welcome back to Nexus Gaming Series Season 2, Week 2. This is Game 2 between two interesting teams. We have Illusion Esports on the left versus Reality Esports on the right. This is a Division A matchup. Coming into this match, Reality Esports was sitting on 4 points, and Illusion was sitting on 3. It's a 2-game series. If you manage to take both games, it gives you 3 points in the league. If you take one game, it gives you 1 point. And if you don't take any games, guess how many points it gives you? 0. I am Bludgeon, coming to you live with Dux. Dux, what were your thoughts on game number 1?
I was actually pretty surprised, man. You know, going into this, I guess that I would maybe have given the advantage to Illusion. I didn't think that Reality was going to be able to actually pin any real damage on them. But I was really surprised. I think Illusion and myself were kind of given a bit of a reality check.
Yeah, now, in the break, you were talking to me about how that Malthael pick worked out. We saw they early picked the Malthael last game, and how do you feel it worked out for them?
I don't think it worked out at all. I think Malthael is a very strong pick. I liked the pick, knowing that they were gonna double pick another warrior. The problem is that if you've still got, you've still got Falstad, you can gust out your Tormented Souls. You've still got a Nubarak who can cocoon it. You've got tons of stuns from the enemy team. I just don't think that was the environment that you would bring Malthael.
So perhaps picked
exactly
a little bit too early, and it gave Reality the chance to really counter him. Is that what happened?
Yeah, exactly. I think that Malthael can be a very strong pick, but I personally would pick him later in the draft. I think early on, in these early phases, like, you have to either pick someone who's just a strong meta pick in general, or you want to pick someone who's really who can fit into a variety of situations, like Dahaka, for example.
Right.
Dahaka fits into most maps, most comps. You know what I mean? It doesn't betray the rest of your draft, and there's no obvious weakness there. So the enemy team is kind of drafting blind against it.
Yeah, now this is the second game in a row where we're seeing Garrosh banned. Illusion had, I believe, banned him in the first game, and Reality now banning. So it looks like both teams are fairly nervous about that first pick. Dahaka coming out as a first pick again. Yeah, not really a shocker. Everyone seems to love that hero, and for very good reason. We see Reality is taking their time with the follow-up here. What's interesting to me is the Malthael ban on the side of Illusion. Does that tell you anything about what they might be trying to do in this draft?
Not necessarily. So, like, Illusion knew that they were going to pick double tank, right? They knew they were going to have Dahaka first pick, and they knew that they were going to pick another warrior down the line. So getting rid of the Malthael just kind of makes sense. Just as a general, like, let's try to get that off the board, since that would be specifically good against us. Also Malthael just kind of good on the objective, just being able to spread his trait around and heal off of. Let's say he pops Tormented Souls on the objective. Not only is he healing off of all of the heroes that he's affected, but also all of the minions. It'd be very difficult to actually deal with on an objective.
Interesting point. Now, we saw the Leoric was banned last game by Reality Esports. This time it is first picked along with the Rhaegar. So you were talking about Leoric's ability just to be a real nuisance solo laner. Someone that's really hard to get rid of. Hard to gank, obviously, because of that Wraith Walk, and just someone who's going to keep pushing that lane. Do you imagine that he'll go top lane?
Yeah, I think you'll probably see him in the top lane. You wouldn't want him in the bottom lane necessarily, because he doesn't have any, like, real merc potential. You would want somebody down there that could, not only could rotate quickly, but it would be able to deal with the mercs. Okay, so we see Vala and Oriel together. Might be we could see a Tassadar, and so you could see that as a ban here, but I don't think it's necessary.
Right, Illusion going back to that Vala after picking it in game 1 as well. We'll see if Reality actually ends up taking this ban, but it's the kind of thing you do sometimes have to worry about when the enemy team has banned a Malthael on you and they've already picked up an Oriel.
Yeah, but you think they would actually... I get it. I do get that, like, because you seem to think, like, with the Oriel Vala, you seem to think, oh, okay, the Oriel's there as a, as the Vala Oriel combo, but maybe they could be going Cho'Gall, but I don't know. You already have a Leoric, and I don't know. I probably wouldn't pick Cho'Gall into Leoric, but that's just me.
We'll see. Now, these teams do have some history with each other, so they have a lot more intel about which heroes each team is likely or willing to pick, certainly more than we do at this stage. They do actually ban the Cho'Gall, so I don't know if we were going to see it, but we certainly are not going to see it at this point. And Uberak banned in return. Denying Reality pick that they did seem to enjoy last game, even though, well, they did get the win with it.
Yeah, for sure. This is so far. This is a completely different game in terms of the map and in terms of just the comps that we're seeing. There's a lot of burst potential right now on the way of Illusion. Right, you got the stun from Dahaka, the displacement, along with obviously Valid has not only strong burst damage but also good sustain damage. So I like what I'm seeing over here. Not a lot of obvious synergy at this point on Reality, but like I said, they're basically drafting a very it's a comp that doesn't, betray what the rest of their lineup's going to be. Like Rhaegar fits into most comps. Leora can fit into most comps. I think you're going to see another warrior for sure. Well, in fact, there it is.
There it is indeed.
Vanquish the weak.
Johanna, Jaina, double J. So you definitely called that second tank. Johanna is going to be interesting, as the patch today did introduce a number of changes for Johanna, some talent rearrangements, some adjustments here and there. Were you able to check out the Johanna changes today, Dux?
I haven't played with them live, but I know that she got there's some changes to Falling Sword, which I think are going to be really interesting to see how they actually play out. Most people tend to pick the Captain America shield, the stun. I think that's more reliable in general. Falling Sword hasn't seen a lot of play, and that's kind of why it got buffed. It did, I think, reduce the damage quite a bit, though.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how it actually plays.
Yeah, I believe some talent readjustments as well have given Johanna a bit more of an option as far as the early talent tiers go. It's not just about extra health or defense, but potentially some options to increase her kind of engage tools earlier on. We'll see how that works out. So, wow, Kael'thas and Diablo picked up over for Illusion. What do you make of those picks?
I like it. I like it a lot. Diablo's very strong on this map. You're always going to be fighting in these tight these areas where the minions are, and Diablo just shreds people, knocking people up against walls and into terrain and flipping people around. That's really good. Kael'thas also very strong on this map. Living Bomb not only causes chaos in the other team, but it also wipes out minion objectives. So the thing with a Kael'thas, though, is you got to be worried about dive. However, so far, Reality has basically nothing that actually threatens Kael'thas.
Yeah, definitely. Kael'thas, especially on a map like this, I mean, you've got so many targets when it comes to one of those objectives. If it's not enemy heroes, it's at least a bunch of skeletons you're getting to burn up pretty quickly. So
right,
a lot of zone control there, and like you said, so far not a lot of dive. I mean, I guess if the Johanna goes Falling Sword, sort of. Now Medivh comes in as a last pick here. Perhaps, do you think that will give access to that back line?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, potentially. You got to remember that any concerted effort to actually get on Kael'thas will be met with an Aegis from Auriel. So would stall out anything that they actually plan to do. But yeah, the thing is, like, they would have to get in, do big damage real fast to blow him up, somehow play around the Crystal Aegis, and when your damage is a Jaina, I don't know.
Yeah, as far as the Medivh shielding goes, I mean, that can obviously protect people from being blown up by Kael'thas if the timing is right. But only one person at a time, and as we know, Kael'thas can certainly hurt more than one person at a time. So we do see the double support from the Rhaegar and the Medivh, and a single support on the other side as far as Auriel goes. How do you see that working out?
Just off the top of my head, I feel like Illusion is in a pretty big advantage here. So one of the problems with Rhaegar I think is a very strong healer, and he's very competitive right now. However, he does kind of have some mana issues. He is not the healer you want in a sustained fight. Whereas Auriel, with a Vala battery, can just go forever. So the longer that these fights play out, the more it just gives an advantage to Illusion. And if you consider the fact that there's just not a lot that Reality can do to actually get on the damage from Illusion, just not sure how they actually come out. I'm not sure I see a path to victory for Reality. But they did really surprise me in the last game.
All right, well, Illusion Esports this game, we've got Kozer on Diablo, Medieval on Vala, Defender playing Oriel, Exfusor on Kael'thas, and Unaverted this time on Dehaka. And just like that, we've already got action in the mid lane before we can even introduce Reality Esports. People are getting, wow, pulled in by Magnetic and really dropped down by the Jaina this time with a lot of backline damage, looks like. Health bars are low. Exfusor better be careful.
Right, so there are a couple things already that kind of surprised me. So first is that we see Unaverted on Dehaka. He seemed to be the designated support for Illusion. So just to see him on a role that maybe isn't his most comfortable seems a little weird. And just to see him burrow in at the beginning rather than to save his Z for a rotation seems a little odd. And maybe that's just part of not being 100% confident with the...
We do see that Exfusor on Kael'thas is going up for that stacking convection talent, so we'll see if he can make it there without getting killed first. Certainly, probably the most fun way to play Kael'thas, although sometimes too risky.
Absolutely, you know. But if you're just not concerned that they're going to be able to get on you, then I don't think there's any reason you shouldn't take it.
Right, and we do see the amount of burst that Illusion can put out as Tay has to really go back, take a sip of that mana well, and restore some health. Up in the top lane, Real Rad Dad, not too concerned about Unaverted, who's just basically hanging around to collect the XP, but not really presenting much of a threat to that Leoric.
Yeah, honestly, I think Leoric comes out ahead in any kind of trade here. You know, one of the ways that Leoric can... Oh, wait, hold up. Team fight going down. Diablo very low, but I don't know they're going to be able to... Oh, and with the snipe from Medivh, does pick him off just before the first objective.
Well done. Medivh grabs first blood for Reality Esports, and at the same time, the objective has spawned. Looks like they're going to start collecting some of those little skeleton men, but Illusion's there too, and they're willing to fight for it, even coming out at the moment ahead, as people are kind of split all around the map.
Yep, Leoric is finally transitioning down. They do have level 4. Both teams are back up now, so this could be a full 5-on-5. Dehaka's still mid lane soaking, trying to get that 4, and I expect to see him to burrow in. Or, you know, see if he just walks straight in here, he's going to have a problem.
Delphox gets the stun onto the Leoric, who just kind of walks away. A lot of members here in the middle, not a lot of damage going back either way at the moment, as perhaps people's attentions are focused on those little skeleton. Then Magnetic goes right in, but far too deep, and pays for it with his life as that Johanna does go down. Diablo now getting Needens in there with a nice flip over into his team, and Medivh goes down. A little bit of revenge there for the snipe kill Medivh got earlier.
Yep, and I think this is the way I think fights are going to go. I mean, Reality did have a nice pick-off on Diablo before the objective. However, I think that Illusion can just kind of man-fight them. I'm not really sure how they actually get to their DPS and kill them. And also, I was corrected in Twitch chat. Defender is the designated support for Illusion.
Okay. Defender was on the Stukov last game, so perhaps both players comfortable in that role. Up top, Real Rad Dad and Unaverted going at it. Both health scars getting pretty low, but Leoric just walks away with that Wraith Walk. However, did end up having to retreat from Dehaka this time, so perhaps the balance of power has shifted up in that top lane. However, most of the action is down bottom as that Punisher is still alive. Managed to push it all the way to the Keep Fort and got a little bit of damage down there. Looks like now Illusion trying to steal this bottom mercenary camp while they're in this zone. Magnetic coming in. We'll see if he's learned his lesson about putting his hand too close to the fire, though. Looks like he has.
Yeah, remember they're always going to have the Medivh available to scout for them, so there should be no reason why Johanna, even though Johanna is Johanna, just super tanky, and does have the ability to make himself Oh, hold up. We might see something happen on the Kael'thas here. Resetting his convection stacks at this point would be really, really...
Oh, Exfuser getting very low. And
he is going to go down. That resets his convection. Man.
Ooh,
okay.
That hurts. It looked like he might just barely get away, but no, Medivh once again gets a kill onto somebody. This Medivh is a murderer.
Yeah, the Medivh pick is definitely paying off for them right now.
Alright, Mercenary Camp's being captured again by Illusion in that bottom lane. So far they're doing a good job of keeping control of those miniature objectives. And we'll see their attention goes at this point. Looks like they're heading up to grab the Bruiser Camp.
Yep, I think I like the timing on this. Okay, you want to try to get these objectives. You want to try to get the Bruiser Camps like right when objectives are spawning. That's where you're going to get the most value out of them. Now, it's kind of a coin toss because the objective might be in the top lane, and then they're just going to get... Okay, so that was actually great timing on that. They timed it way better than I did. So you're seeing then Reality also going up to get their Bruisers in response. And they have a few seconds before the objective spawns.
Shrine is now active. It looks like Illusion is trying to get a kill onto Real Rad Dad, although maybe they don't know he's actually there.
Yeah, both teams trying to soak up as much as they can before the Shrines actually spawn. However, I don't think that Illusion's going to be able to hit level 10, and Medieval's taking quite a lot of damage.
Medieval managing to get out of that alive. I didn't really think he was going to be able to. Was wedged in between a few players. Does get out alive. No major cooldowns burned there. Looks like the Shrine has been activated. Both teams now piling in to kill the little miniature skeleton.
Dahaka getting a lot of free push on the bottom though, and just a few seconds he's going to hit level 10. There's going to be a huge advantage for Illusion, and there he comes. There's the Z back in. They're gonna fight now with 10. Apocalypse goes out, big stun. There goes Rhaegar.
Nice wombo combo there on the part of Illusion Esports, getting the Diablo Apocalypse into a lot of Kael'thas AoE damage and hitting that level 10. Like you said, Dahaka down there getting damage not only onto the fort, so the keep structures, but getting that key level 10 for his team just in time to bro in, make it a 5v4 with level 10 advantage, and immediately taking advantage of that. I'd say that was an excellent tempo play on the part of Illusion Esports as they clean up these skeletons.
Yeah, very good timing. Very good. Just it's very important to just stay in the game and always think about, well, like, where am I going to get my next advantage? When am I going to get my next talent tier? And once you have that talent tier, you are at a significant advantage over the other team. You need to use it, and that's exactly what they did.
Kael'thas back up to 4 stacks on Convection. Let's see whether Fusor can manage to get that back up before the game is over. However, a lot of nice damage going down. Punisher stuns too, and it looks like Reality will just kind of back away, kill that Punisher before it does too much damage to their keep wall. However, yielding that siege camp over to Illusion, who has maintained a pretty steady advantage as far as mercenary camps goes.
Right, it's very frustrating when Convection doesn't pay off the way you want it to. The thing about Convection is it's so feast or famine, right? Like, if you can make it happen, especially if you can make it happen early. Okay, hold up, because we might see something big happen here. It is 4v3. Ring of Frost does go out, but it misses everyone.
Oh wow, Kozer just
Diablo comes in,
dooming someone there, putting people right into Kael'thas' damage, and now Reality is on the run. Health bars are getting very low. Medivh protects himself. Medieval, though, getting a really nice Rain of Vengeance to finally kill that Medivh. That's gotta feel good.
Yeah, 2 heroes down. I think you're going to see them take a keep here. At least I would like to see them take a keep here. 2 heroes down, and Leoric is still top lane. Oh, there he is coming back now, though. I think they foresee that they're going to lose a keep. And I think Illusion may be rightly backing off.
Yeah, Illusion, they must have noticed Leoric backing away and just made a very quick call to get the heck out of there. They got some structures down. That whole wall now is gone, exposing that keep the next time they have a chance to take advantage of that. And just playing it a bit safe there. Perhaps they could have gotten more, but it would have been a risk. And at the moment, it looks like they're quite happy to take the sure thing. Another mercenary camp now going over to Illusion.
The more I see this in the top lane, the more I do actually think that Dahaka comes out in any kind of trade against Leoric. I didn't think so, but I guess if he gets the creepy hands on Dahaka, Dahaka just burrows and takes it off, and then you're fine. you can just try to, you know, so much of his sustain is actually tied into the hand. Let's see if he took... Yeah, he didn't take the talent that gives him healing and mana return on minion death. So the only return he's actually getting is from health globes and from creepy handing his opponent.
Well, the Shrine is active. Looks like Illusion has now gone down to actually summon the skeletons and start getting their kill on, as Reality is occupied up top with Dahaka for some reason. Perhaps just deciding that they are not in a position to contest this objective.
Right. Reality does not have 13, so they're 2 levels down, but more importantly, they don't have 13. And so that means they just really can't safely contest this objective.
Real Rad Dad landed the creepy hand onto Kozer, who responds by charging him up. Nice leyline seal from Medivh. A lot of things going on all at the same time now as a member of Illusion finally drops. We see things exploding left and right. Kael'thas, though, still in the backline, doing a lot of damage on that Exfuser. Defender on Oriel doing his best to keep people alive. Real Rad Dad now going right in on that Leoric. Creepy hand, or sorry, Wraith walking in, even though his health is actually quite low. Magnetic now in the middle of a bunch of enemy teams. Kind of a messy team fight. A lot of low health bars all around. There goes Johanna, Real Rad Dad. Takes the Medivh portal to get out. We'll see if Anaverdi can land a tongue onto anybody. Oh!
Oh!
Great kill by Oriel there at the end to take down that Leoric.
Okay, so we have the Punisher in the bottom lane. Arcane Punishers are extremely good at sieging structures. As you can see, he's got one arcane, I don't know what you call that, arcane, you know.
Yeah, the skip.
What do you call that?
The arcane
one
skip
arcane void zone on the actual fort, on the keep, which is just doing a really significant amount of damage.
Down goes the Phoenix, and the keep falls right now. That Punisher is still alive. Reality not able to fight back too hard against that. However, the core not yet in danger. Illusion once again playing it very safe, taking their objective and walking away.
Right. They are 2 levels up, about to hit their second talents here, or their second to last talents here. So they'll be at 16. I think for a brief few moments. Okay, never mind. They Reality did hit 14, so you're gonna see a 2-level advantage, and that's significant as it is, but also just again down the talents here. So before the next objective, Reality really does need to hit 16. Otherwise, they're gonna have to concede yet another objective.
Illusion just like clockwork on these mercenary camps, grabbing them one after the other. I'd be very interested to see the stats on mercenary camps for this game. I think it's got to be something like 3-1 in favor of Illusion.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. The only camp I can even remember Reality taking is their Bruiser camp before the first objective.
Finding himself in the middle of the enemy team. Diablo getting some nice CC down there. Vala even going for the Rain of Vengeance. However, Medivh getting that nice portal to get him out of there. And
Leyline seal to save him. Whew, that was close.
Alright, well that is a long cooldown for Medivh, whereas Vala's is much shorter. We'll see how that pans out.
I want to point out that Convection is currently at 18 stacks. Master's Touch at 10 of 30.
Exfusor better be careful, but he's got to be eager at this point to get that finished.
Absolutely.
Magnetic hanging on that bush, looking for the right time to engage. They really want to get a pick onto Exfuser, who's exposing himself a little bit here. Gotta be careful, buddy. And it looks like he is, and they do not manage to get a pick. The Shrine is available in the top section of the map.
Alright, so it does look like Reality is going to have 16 for this. And so both sides have 16. They're on an even talent tier. It's 5v5. So I'm really anxious to see if Reality can turn this around, get a pick on the Kael'thas, potentially before he finishes up Convection. He only has 2 more stacks. Yeah, they're looking to gank the rotation. It does look like Kael'thas is a little bit out in front.
Ooh, this is
this could be
very
big.
Risky. Look at this, and they do manage to get the kill. Oh, what a heartbreaker.
Oh.
A lot of CC going down on both sides. The Apocalypse catching a few members of Reality. However, Illusion now in retreat, unaverted, taking tons of damage. Surviving still on that Dahaka, getting a nice heal back up to almost full, but cut off from his base. Looks like he is going to get out.
Yeah, he did use he used all 3 of his health bars there. His regular health bar, his essence, and his adaptation. So Certainly did take a lot of damage, but he was able to get out, and now he's going to push up bottom and try to threaten the keep while they're on the objective.
What a really nice setup on the part of Reality Esports there, knowing surely that Kael'thas was almost ready to get that thing stacked up, deciding we've got to try to get this to happen before he can, or maybe even just more broadly trying to catch somebody on a rotation up top, and it certainly worked. Best case scenario, they take Exfuser down, sitting on 18 stacks of Convection, now back down to 0. The likelihood of him completing that quest in this game now, quite low.
Quite low at this point. If you got reset twice, and the second one is at almost, well, it fit 15 minutes. That base. So there's the thing about Convection. If you can complete it earlier, God, it's wonderful. But if you can't, and if you keep getting reset, you might as well not have a level 1 talent.
Unaverted being very bold in the base of Reality Esports, just clearing the minion waves, pushing that catapult and his own minions up there to keep the pressure on. Burrow's back now to the team. All 4 members here looking to perhaps get a pincer move onto Reality Esports. Magnetic behind enemy lines, however, looks like they're going for the back line, getting some nice damage. Up top, you see Apocalypse goes down, catches only 1, but Jaina is dead. More red names about to fall. Tay goes down. A couple just barely escaped through the Medivh portal, but we'll see if they can keep it up.
That's right. It was only 1 kill, but it was an important one. Jaina's all their damage. Hold on, let's look at the stats.
Oh, really nice whip there from Oriole to stun into the wall. Diablo pulls him right out again, and that is 2 down now on the side of Reality. Interesting turn of events. It looks like Reality had managed to get the upper hand there, getting that nice kill onto Kael'thas, getting the objective and the Punisher, but it hasn't really amounted to a whole lot as Illusion has managed to take back control, get a bunch more structures, and maintain about a 1-level lead at this point.
Yep, very impressive from both teams, just being able to, stay focused and do, honestly, to make the right plays even when, there's a lot on the line. It's very impressive.
Oh, absolutely. Reality Esports just kind of watching as Illusion steals one of their mercenary camps out from under them for what's got to be the 10th time so far this game. We see 3 camps up at the moment, and I have no doubt Illusion will grab those first chance they get.
Yeah, I think they can do that pretty well uncontested at this point. Neither team has 20, but Illusion is almost certainly going to get it in the next minute, if not 30 seconds. So that will put Reality at a pretty significant disadvantage for quite a long time. I honestly expect Illusion, as soon as they hit 20, to push, let's say, mid, and take that keep.
Meaden's doing some nice scouting on the Medivh, making sure his team knows what Illusion is up to here at all times. Watches them grab another mercenary camp. However, the shrine area currently under the control of Reality Esports have not decided to activate it just yet. It looks like they're still kind of doing a lot of this hanging out in the rushes or the gas zones or whatever, looking to get some secret ganks. Wow, nice tongue grab there from the Virgin, but it is onto the Johanna, who doesn't really care too much. Kael'thas getting some pretty nice damage onto the back line, but it gets healed up really
nicely. So here's the thing. In reality, you have to be getting aggressive because you have so little time until Illusion hits 20. And as soon as they hit 20, it's over as far as team fights go. The aura goes down.
Yeah, there was some really nice protections going on while the Jaina Ring of Frost went down. Did not get a lot of damage onto anybody. Averted, though, getting fairly low. Tay uses the Ancestral Healing onto Infofox, but 2 members already down on the side of Reality, and I've got to imagine a few more are going to follow them.
There's the level 20. Medivh Portal does save Tay for the moment, but is he...
Oh my goodness.
Diablo going in big. Jaina just trying to get some damage before she goes down. That's 3 members of the enemy team down. Level 20 going out for Illusion. They may just be looking to end.
Well, they certainly have the upper hand at this point. I can't believe Tay managed to stay alive. We saw a great whip out from Oriole to stun him, but just got through the Medivh portal in time. Medivh definitely not able to save his whole team, but got a couple of them out of there, and we'll see if they can do anything. Oh. Just like that, we see a pause. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, it's a GG pause probably.
It could very well be. As I said, these
X-Fuser is lagging.
says he's lagging. That would be the Kale Thos. So it is Illusion who has paused the game, even though they are now looking at the core. I guess they certainly don't want to mess it up. Looks like things are pretty well fine. So still only 3 members alive on the side of Reality, but we'll see if they can hold things off at least in time for Johanna to come help them out. What's the fucking pause break button?
Oh, bludgeon, you need to do it. Escape.
Alright, sorry about that. We are back into the game. Things are happening back and forth. Your defender and Exfuser are fairly low. Looks like they're going to have to back out. Unaverted, chasing Magnetic out there. Looks like it's going to be a disengage, although Real Rad Dad right in the back of the enemy team. Diablo bouncing him around back and forth. We see Wraith Walks, we see the deep portals. A lot of mobility here. Real Rad Dad, oh, just getting that heal from Tay just in time to stop the Living Bong from killing him. However, Magnetic on Johanna now in the middle of the enemy team does go down. Reality holding on by the skin of their teeth here. They did not take any core damage. However, Johanna is going to be a while before she comes back.
I'm not 100% sure why Illusion's being so ginger about this. Like, they are up 20, 4v5.
Well, Leoric did take the ominous Wraith talent, which reduces the enemy team's damage if he can Wraith Walk through them. So that makes things a little bit more difficult for them. Not sure. Perhaps that glitch in the computers sort of slowed things down a little bit for them. But anyway, they are grabbing the objective at this point. They still have that level 20 advantage, though not for much longer.
Okay, so worth noting that Medivh has finished Master's Touch. Kale is still working on Convection. He's, after having been reset twice, he's 12.
Maybe that's what's going on. They just did not want to finish the game without that Convection stacked all the way up to full.
Entirely possible. So we have yet another Arcane Punisher coming in here. I said before, but Arcane Punishers are by far the best, like, sieging Punishers.
Oh!
So,
Jaina just died to something. I didn't see what happened there. Some kind of minion killed her, I guess? Not sure. Anyway, it's a 5v4 now in the enemy base with an Arcane Punisher. Things are looking pretty dire for Reality at this point. Leyline still goes down. You see the Phoenix onto the base. Diablo now bouncing evens all over the place. Medivh dies. Health bars on the part of Reality going very low. Real Rad Dad gets ganked and killed. Yeah. Well, that is game 2 going over to Reality Esports, making that a... that went over to Illusion Esports. So that makes it a 1-1 in the series. 1 game for Reality, 1 game for Illusion. So the great philosophical debate of the ages will be unsettled for now, as sometimes Illusion triumphs over Reality, and sometimes Reality triumphs over Illusion. Ducks, last thoughts on that match?
I think it more or less went exactly the way we talked about in the draft. You know, at no point really did Reality have any way to actually get on the DPS. I mean, that's not exactly correct. They were able to get on them in rotations, right? And then just when their DPS was overextended. So they're really just capitalizing on positioning mistakes, which is really what they had to do, right? But it just wasn't enough. I still think that Illusion could just man fight them, and that's really exactly what happened. 16 kills to 5.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty rough. We saw some really nice, when these team fights happened, a lot of things all happened at the same time, right? We saw Rings of Frost, and we saw Apocalypses, and Reign of Vengeance, and Kael'thas, all kinds of things happening. But at the end of the day, it did tend to be red health bars that were more in jeopardy than blue health bars.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you feel the Medivh worked out in that matchup? It was their last pick. That was the pick they chose after they'd seen everything else. What do you think their goal was, and how do you think it actually worked out?
I like the Medivh. The Medivh was he really was the one who was kind of getting on. They needed someone who could play around the front line, and I think Medivh did that pretty well. They needed someone who could scout, right? Because they didn't want. They were maybe worried about Diablo and Dahaka sort of ganks. So I don't mind the Medivh pick at all. Actually, I think he did pretty well. I don't know if this has to be bugged. My screen says that
I see that 550,000 healing and shielding.
Sure where that's coming from, but yeah.
I guess during the invulnerable, theoretically, could have been 1 million damage prevented. So it's
certain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, certainly. I think. Yeah. I think you've just got so much disruption in Illusion's front line, so that nobody can really play safely, right? Even Rhaegar. Like, Rhaegar's an offensive support who ended up with 9,000 total damage. You just can't go into that front line.
All right, well, that wraps up our match for the evening. Illusion and Reality going 1-1. That brings Reality up to 5 points so far in the league, and Illusion up to 4 points. So that's Division A for you. Keep watching Nexus Gaming Series Season 2 as things continue. Games are on pretty well every evening at this point. Dux, thank you so much for joining me. Did you enjoy yourself tonight?
Absolutely, man. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so that's Dux and Bludgeon signing out for the Nexus Gaming Series. We'll see you next time. Good night. Desktop.